Alright. Yeah, Cowboy, come back.
And what is up, risk takers? Welcome to the Kill Pete Strategy. I am Pete, and today it is my privilege to host the free-for-all Q2 Risk Discord Tournament Recap Show. I'm here with Stove, AKA StoveTopped. How are you, Stove?
Alright, buddy. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good, and we have all 6 of the tournament finalists with us at some point this evening to chat about the game, their thoughts. We're going to go over where everyone was at various points and just get them to connect now because there's no real ability to communicate in game. But just get them to be able to connect over Discord and chat about the outcome. So welcome.
Oh yeah.
Cowboy.
Hi.
How's it going, Cowboy? How's it going, Cherry?
It's going pretty good.
Yep, going pretty well.
Yeah. I was watching some YouTube, so I'm here now. And it's going to be good fun, I'm sure.
Cool, man.
Definitely.
So Cherry, this was your idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, why don't you lead us off? How are you feeling now?
Much better.
I see.
Directly after the game, I didn't have anything to say. Like, well, I had plenty to say, but none of it would have actually been stuff that I would like to say. Because I was very still digesting and just salty.
Fair enough.
But I've had my time. I've worked through everything, and I'm less salty, and I'm good with my placement now.
Good. I would be pretty happy if I were you. And as I recall, second place.
Yeah.
Nothing to sneeze at. I don't know. It's second place on points, I guess. But
yeah.
Do you consider? Does it feel like a second, or does it feel like a third?
It's a third.
Okay. All right.
I would like a second, but I feel like I definitely deserved and came in as third place.
Okay.
Fair enough.
And Cowboy, the victor. How are you?
I'm doing good. Actually, that night I was also kind of just digesting stuff. That's why after like about an hour or so of talking to everyone, I just kind of went silent and was just chilling there.
Sure.
So, after like spending some time thinking about it, now it's kind of all like, whoa, it's really cool. Because I wasn't really fully processing it at the time, you know?
Yeah.
It was just such a long game, I was just so exhausted, so I was just like, okay.
I don't know, man. You sounded very hyped.
Well, I probably had a lot of adrenaline in my blood at the time, but like, you know, now, looking back, I'm sure if you had talked to me an hour later, I would have passed out.
That adrenaline crash, yeah.
Yeah.
And we have xerip here. We have Tyler here. How's it going, guys?
Very good, and you?
Good. I'm very happy you all agreed to do this.
If
Yes.
I log out, it's because my cell phone is at 5% and I have no way of charging.
Okay.
Okay. Well, then maybe we should make the most of Zerv's time.
Yeah.
That's odd. No, but I'll come back. It's just that I need to charge it and I'm not in a...
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Well, was
Well,
there?
Until when are you here?
I'm easy going. It's up to you guys, really. How long you want to talk for?
Yeah,
I have a lot of time and lots to say. So.
Well, Zerp, since you're sitting at 5%, let me ask you, how do you feel about your gameplay? And like, what do you think you could have done differently to like obtain the victory?
I should have seen that Harry started a third zone, and I should have really tried to go there. A little bit more active. But other than that, I don't see much I could have done. To win, unless like get a 12 more hours in, you know.
Like, you don't
But
think the
after 12
situation
hours-
gave room?
Well, I don't think, and you know, I don't think I could have won it based on how Terry and Cowboy had such a strong connection. But I should have definitely tried to block Terry when Kite was in the means block Cherry as well. So that was like something I should have seen. Like I should have helped Kite block Cherry. That's one huge mistake I think I should have done that.
Fair enough.
So, let's go to our victor here. Cowboy, how do you feel about this victory? Being this is your 1st time around and all that jazz.
Yeah, it was definitely very surprising, and there's always gonna be like, even though I did win, always be kind of down in my mind that maybe I shouldn't have. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's a lot of other players who played really well, so it's kind of like, I don't know. Especially in my semifinals, I just got really lucky. It came down to the fact that I had a match on 3, so I was worth less value than Pio for dying. So Pio died before me and let me get into finals. If it had played any differently, then I wouldn't have made it there anyway. So, you know. Yeah, I'm sure you're wishing you did now, huh?
Same question to you, Cherry. Like, how are you feeling about your gameplay and what could you have done differently?
Well, during game, there was one thing I did, and one thing I didn't do. And as soon as I didn't do it, I knew I made a mistake, and I regretted it the whole entire game. And then also, rewatching the game, I found my second big mistake. So my first big mistake was when Ray was originally card blocked while off capital, and she put her 6k stack next to, I think I traded in, and it made like 8k something. I should have hit her stack, and I should have killed all of her little trail of ones that she was card blocked with, and given Cowboy Ray's kill, because she was currently trapped behind him. Like, I should have done that just as it would have been beneficial for like everybody. It would have been beneficial for myself specifically, considering how she then went and took my capital mid-game. But very specifically, I think I owed Cowboy giving him Ray's kill.
What do you think you owe Cowboy?
Okay, so in game, I didn't notice how strong our allyship was until like we were constantly being allies and trading cards behind him. But rewatching it, I saw that he was actually doing a lot of stuff that benefited me in the early and mid game. Well, early game. There was one point when Ray tried to card block me, and the very next time that Cowboy got to go, he traded in, placed everything on his capital, came off his capital, like locking his capital in, then he can't, like, he's now vulnerable to be card blocked, to take his capital stack and smack her card block stack. So like that was like, I didn't even notice how much of like a favor he had done to me and how much he was putting online to do that favor. And then thinking back as well, he literally, like, okay, I was going to kill Dareel, but he made it so much easier for me to kill Dareel. Like, he took out that last stack that was outside of his capital, and he also made it to where I could go into where that part of the map to get to Dareel by taking out his stack that was next to us in the middle of the map. So like, he really helped me with Dareel's kill, and I should have helped him with Kite's kill.
That makes sense.
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna jump to Tyler here because he's you guys tied for that position. So, same question. Like, how do you feel about your gameplay, and what could you have done differently?
There might have been things early on that I could have done differently, but I feel like if they were that early on, that I don't really blame myself for not noticing if they had long-term impacts or not. But later on, like post xerip suicide, there's nothing. Or like I guess like the whole time I had a troop advantage. There was still not really much I think I could have done, because no matter what happened, Cowboy and Cherry would always have the card trading.
You don't think you could have done anything to stop that?
Beyond a certain point, I don't think so. But
maybe if you
but
reacted
before that
sooner.
Point, I don't think I could have noticed before that point.
All right. So, Cowboy, that capital you took, it said that capital was cursed, right? Everybody that held that capital was almost instantly card blocked, and they had to leave that a capital. And how did you get that to work when others couldn't?
Well, I think the biggest thing, honestly, was the fact that Cherry was behind me, because it was a mutually beneficial thing we had going where we were trading cards off each other. So as long as she gave me cards, she was also getting cards, and she couldn't be killed because she was behind me.
You had no intention of wiping her behind you?
No, even if her entire army got killed and she had 1,000 troops, I would have continued trading cards, because there's no way I'm getting rid of that free source of cards. I would have just kept doing that. I have no reason to kill her.
Let's run this different timeline. Let's say, because a lot of spectators are like, why isn't Cherry blocking Cowboy? And so that makes me think, if Cherry was to stop you and card block you from that side, do you attack her, or do you just let her still stay there?
I probably would have had to kind of blitz the big stack, but I wouldn't knock her out of that side, and I'd still be giving her a chance, we could keep trading cards, or I can just knock you out, but I'm not going to do that if I don't have to. Because I really, really did not want to lose that. That was basically my win condition. If I could have Cherry behind me, trading cards, there was almost no way I could lose, because eventually everyone would run out of territories to take, and I'd still have something, you know?
So we're joined now by Kite, Ray, who just came in here. Hello, Kite.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Good.
Great.
How are you?
Good. I'm good. I'm actually driving right now, so hopefully there's not too much noise. I'm trying to just...
Safety first, Ray.
I'm parked right now, so I'm just trying to set it up so y'all don't hear massive amounts of background stuff. All right.
Awesome. So, are you able to reply to stuff right now, Ray?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, my first thing for you is, well, I'm asking everybody this, is how do you feel about your own gameplay, and what do you think you could have done differently to obtain a victory?
Oh, that's a good question. How many answers did I miss of other people?
Well, I've asked
just
Cherry
3 so far.
and
4.
and xerip and Sir Tyler.
Yep.
Great. So how did I think that I did well for where everybody ended up being positioned. I think my tentative original plan was I'm gonna put my cap. It was at the end of the long. And I'm gonna take that bonus was my plan, which never really happened. So that being said, I was with that not being able to happen, I wasn't a huge fan of my spot for my cap. So I think I did well working with what I ended up with, but I might have done something different in the very beginning placement wise, possibly. I'm not sure.
So I thought your cap placement was the most interesting of all of the players. No, straight up, I thought that your decision to put your cap there was the least predictable therefore the most interesting. Was it?
Sure.
Was that intentional? Like,
It was
did you well, no. Look,
I definitely
sometimes
didn't want to be in the middle.
right. Why?
I didn't want to be. So.
Say again, please. We're losing you, Ray.
Oh, sorry. Is this any better?
Yeah. Say again.
Okay. So, people, not everybody had a direct path to everyone, right? To be able to take their capital or anything like that. And I think at one point I realized that I was the person who had the most direct paths to other people. Versus like, people who were kind of tucked behind. With the two caps in the middle there, it really kind of divided the board in half. So I didn't want to be in the middle because I knew I would be more vulnerable, as in somebody that lots of people could probably hit, something like that. Those were just my thoughts, I guess.
So you chose to be at the end, but off to the side.
I think she may have dropped.
Oh no.
But not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So well, we're waiting for Dareel to come in because I want to ask him that same question. Cowboy, I asked you how you got that capital to work. Right? You hear me,
Yeah.
buddy? Okay.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I wanna follow on that and ask Cherry, like, how did she feel about you being in that position?
Okay. So this is. I've worked through like I've worked through like all of my saltiness, and this wasn't a saltiness thing that I didn't gain until after the game. Because I hear it all the time. Cowboy was the first one to figure out how to make that capital work. He was the first one to do it, and that makes me a little bit salty because I will give him that he was the first and only one to pull it off successfully, but I also knew that when I went to kill Dareel, I sat there because I wasn't expecting Cowboy to kill his outside, that stack over there, but so I wasn't expecting to kill him that early, and I sat there. I'm like, do I kill him or do I not kill him? Because I had to think about it, and I was like, ultimately I decided that farming, that he wouldn't have stayed around because he wouldn't have seen an end game of possibly coming in second without being able to go to anywhere. So I figured farming a bot would eventually cost me more than if I had just killed him. So I rash decision decided to kill him instead of keeping him back there. But that is also why I stayed back there, because I already knew that that was a possibility.
So for your capital, Cherry, since we're on capital placements, I thought your choice of capital placement was very wise, and it seemed to me like you were really the only one that placed to stop Dareel from having that very strong conquering game.
Yeah.
Was it not a very scary option for you to do that? Were you worried about that position?
As soon as I saw the blizzards, I absolutely knew that was going to be my capital, and I knew somebody, at least one person, was going to have a capital stuck behind me, and that was a risk I was willing to take.
That's the name of the game, risk.
It is, indeed.
Actually, with the first placements, usually you just assume where people place first is where they're going to put their capital. And Dareel's first placement was back in the territory, and Cowboy's first placement was that hallway to the back territory. I'm like, am I gonna be able to trap 2 capitals behind me? Like, I was a little bit excited there. And but I did also notice that for all capitals, like the only capital that I expected to be where it was xerips. And everybody else like just didn't make sense to me. I really wanted somebody to put their capital where the south wall enters into the middle, right above that one tower. I was really hoping Ray would put her capital there, because I tried to hint towards it by taking that south wall territory right next to it, that's directly underneath my capital, like, hey, there's a really good cap spot here. Because I usually don't want people to have good cap spots, but I wanted somebody to take that capital spot, because in long game, I saw myself being able to hold the whole entire right side with those 2 capitals. So, but then nobody placed there.
Right on. Earlier we were talking, you said you had went through a bunch of the tournament facts.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about those.
What's up?
What'd you find out?
Okay.
What are the facts?
I've only gone through a little bit. The first actually, so the whole reason why I went through these facts was because in my mind I thought Ray had the most wins out of everybody, which I don't know if it's out of everybody, but spoiler alert, she's tied with xerip for the most wins out of the finalists. But that's why I initially went into the spreadsheet to just look at stuff. And then that's when I came across that every single one of the finalists won their round 1 game.
Huh.
Yeah. Also, all the finalists top 3'd at least 5 times. The one did 5 times, everybody else did 6 times, and then I did all 7 times. And that's pretty much all my facts. Also, round 3, the only other prog cap game round, I was the only finalist to win. So, definitely looked like I should have won the finals, but I just didn't, I guess. But yeah, those were the facts that I found while going through the spreadsheet.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like that round 1 settings were a make or break for a lot of people. Their ability to progress in the rest of the tournament.
Yeah. Also, a lot of people didn't like that the round 1 settings were, 90 seconds long. That was something a lot of people did not like about round 1.
Well, I mean, there were all sorts of controversy around the settings in this tournament in general.
Yeah. I'm not saying that I had a problem with it. It probably played to my advantage. But I'm saying overall, of the higher skilled-based players, they did not like that it was 90 seconds.
Which is interesting to note, because a lot of there was a ton of variety in the settings for this tournament. So
yes.
if you pride yourself on being a skill-based player, now maybe you don't have the time for multiple rounds of cap games, and that's fair. But if you pride yourself on being a skill-based player, the argument goes at least that you would want to experience a variety of settings.
Exactly. Yeah. That's how I feel.
I would agree on that in retrospective, I think that while I didn't like the settings at the time, after learning all of them, except for Japan, fuck Japan, I thought that, all of the rounds were interesting. And sure, the finals took long, but I look back at it and I'm still I had a blast playing it,
Yeah.
So, I'm not salty about it. I'd much rather it's a 13-hour long game than it be a 20-minute long prog 6-player game. It's ended as soon as someone gets the first kill and goes on a chain. That would have been pretty lame for finals.
Exactly. That's actually, sorry to cut you off. I believe Stove said that the next finals is not going to be a prog caps game, and I know that a lot of people are going to like that. And I thought it sounded good, and now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, no, I prefer prog caps for finals. But
Why?
Yeah.
So if I
I
could
agree.
can I interject here?
Yeah.
Actually. So I was thinking about this, and I just thought about this an hour ago. Despite your both love for it, I hated every single minute of it. I did. It was not fun for me. And I didn't feel like I got a chance to even really showcase my skill. So that being said, I had this thought, and it's just my brain, right? I'm not in charge or anything, but with some of those stats that you shared about like us winning other games and stuff like that, I feel like the better test of like who the ultimate like finalist would be more like a series of some of those shorter matches, maybe even like a repeat of the previous rounds that weren't capitals, because like you have zombies, you'd have 70%. You could even introduce like a 5-round rumble kind of thing. And I was even thinking, I know caps are a lot about the long game, but there were a few setups that I practiced where that particular map went really quickly with caps, just based on the way the blizzards were set up, where you could even suggest some kind of mode where it's like we're doing a caps game, but also like we'll set a timer, and whoever has the most capitals at like 45 minutes. like to me those sound like super fun, and you could even like put in like I know in the past like the winner was the one who had the overall most points from the whole tournament, so like the last game wasn't like each player had a 1 in 6 chance to win. It was based off points and stuff. But I feel like you could get really creative, because if we're gonna have caps games that are 13 hours, like I think people would be fine with it being something that was more like 3.5 hours, like a series of 5 different 6-player games that like you would get points, and at the end whoever had the most points out of that, I feel like something like that would be really enjoyable for people to watch and for people to play.
Okay, hold on. Let me make sure I'm getting you correct. You're saying that for the finals game, it should be a series of games?
I think so. I think
that sounds interesting. I like that.
Because then you wouldn't have 12, 13-hour long games that it's great that some people love that, but it's hard to practice because it's just hard to practice. And then I feel like you play for a really long time, and you don't really get to you don't really get to see people's skill. Like at the end of it, we can sit here and talk about the skill that went into it, but like I feel like it's not very well showcased. I mean, there's a reason why nobody watches like an entire marathon on TV. They tune in for like the last little bit when people are crossing the finish line, or they tune in for like the start when like the little race gun shoots off or whatever, or like halfway through they tune in when people are like passing out or in the water tents or something. And I feel like it would also be a way to test more evenly people's skill across the board wise. But like that's just what would be fun for me. But
yeah,
that's my little soapbox. That's really all. If I say anything tonight, it's just
you got it out there.
That I got it out there.
Yeah.
I hated every single moment of that.
I'm sorry to hear that, Ray. That sounds unfortunate for you.
It was mostly like me trying to weigh between how much longer do I want this to go on when I know I'm probably not going to make top 3, but really if I give up now because I've already put 8 hours of my life into this, it's like that was kind of
definition of sunk cost fallacy. You just keep digging yourself deeper and deeper.
Yeah. Yep. The longer I waited, the more I felt like I owed it to myself to wait, which made me wait longer.
Right.
So anyway,
how many others feel that way? Is this a majority opinion?
Feel which way?
Well, okay. Did you
simplify it for me?
Did anybody else in the chat currently hate every second of it?
Nope.
No, not at all. I loved the whole thing. Even
I found it extremely
4 hours.
interesting.
Yeah, even doing the 4 hours of just trading one card with Cowboy, I still was there for every second of it.
Okay.
I think, in my opinion, and I mean, I'm definitely someone who really likes a longer, more plotting kind of game.
Same.
So for me, I do play sometimes very aggressively in Risk. Sometimes, right? And I can get games to end pretty quickly. But when it comes to like a big, momentous kind of game, like a finals,
I really like a long plotting game where it's really about every choice you make may not even have a significant impact now, but 2 hours later, will it have really impacted your game, you know?
Yeah.
And I think
I
that's
feel
very
exactly
interesting.
the same.
And I guess I can kind of see where Kite's coming from, where the strategy isn't so apparent on the surface. Like, it's not as easy to see the skill that goes into it immediately. Because, yeah, when someone's just making little attacks and they don't seem to have a massive impact on the board, because everyone still has their cap regardless, it doesn't seem like much is really happening. But then hours down the line, you realize, oh, that's what got them into this situation. You know, that's what affected the board from in the earlier parts of the game. And I think that's really interesting. And that's why I like this, what we're doing right now, a little retrospective on it. So I think it lets us look at everything that happened to be able to appreciate the good plays that everybody's made. Because a lot of people made really good plays.
What were some of your favorites, Cowboy?
Actually, I really liked xerip's cap. I think xerip's cap was really, really good. So, I had actually done only one practice game for the finals before going into it. And, xerip's cap, when he did that in our practice game, I was like, oh, that's a fucking good cap spot.
Mm-hmm.
But then, for some reason, I didn't take it when, I was going before him in the turn order, which I should have done, and I was kind of beating myself up for the next 30 minutes. I was like, dude, I should have taken that cap. Because there's so many access points, and it can lock players behind you, right? Like, you can basically guarantee yourself the kill on someone if their other stuff dies out.
Why did you take the territory you took initially? Let's go
First
right
one with
back.
Dareel?
Let's go right back to selection. You chose a territory that did not end up as your cap. First.
Now, the mindset behind that was actually very interesting. So what I decided to do was I thought to myself, well, I don't really, like... There's no one particular territory that I'm like, I need this as my capital, you know? I had a few that I was like, if I get this, that's good. But I saw Dareel getting that side, and I already knew in my head he's going to get that whole last side. So if I placed a territory there, I was hoping I could kind of bait him into putting more stuff into that continent on the, what's it called? On the very right side of the map. And then that would slow his progression throughout the whole game for a little while, because he might put his cap back there, right? But obviously I wasn't going to commit anything to there, so that's why I didn't do anything with that territory. It was more just to put it there to see if I could challenge him to either move his cap forward, which he did, or he'd have to keep it back to guarantee he gets that continent, and then he faces being pinned in.
It's a lot of thinking through that.
That was exactly my worry when I was going first.
Go on.
Was that?
When I was picking my first territory, it was exactly my worry. Like, it had a lot of blizzards, but I thought that's too many blizzards. I'm gonna get locked in there.
Yeah, I think it was very smart of you to take that left side instead.
So this is actually the genius of xerip's cap placement, right? It has the most roads, the least likely to be card blocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has those pockets. That's what I feel is the best part of his cap, is those pockets he has.
Because you save those in a pinch?
No, you
What?
would use those pockets to save troops like we saw him do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stack up.
Easier,
So I'll fast
fortified.
forward to when xerip did that for the first time, because people were asking me in the moment why, and I was like, well, the fortification stage, scrolling through that wheel, this is the first time xerip did it. He had about 5,000 on his cap, and he puts 2,000 off to the side. And people were asking me in the moment, why would anyone do something like that? Well, he wants to mobilize a 2,000 plus strong stack when and if it becomes appropriate to do so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that was a really good play from him. When I saw that during the match, I was like, at first, the first turn, I was kind of like, what the fuck's he doing? And then afterwards, I was like, wait, that's incredibly smart.
Same, exactly the same.
Yeah, it allows for that quick fortifies. I've also noticed that when xerip was within 3 to 4 turns of being card blocked, because there was times where he was getting really close, he started piling troops down there to, just in case he was, that next turn.
His card lock.
Yeah, he was coming out strong. He was only going to be card locked for 1 turn at most.
Because I'm going to punch you if you try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. So do we have Dareel Deel here in chat?
We do. He just joined us.
All right. Why don't we give him the floor for a second?
Yeah. Let's do a mic check. Dareel, can you hear us? And can you speak?
Does he have perms to speak?
That would be, he should be able to. Let me check. Yes, he does.
Dareel Deel. The
Alright,
last person we haven't heard from. Okay, we'll wait until they're ready to chat.
Right.
Hey, hold on one second. Pete, on your stream, is that during placement still?
I can go to wherever you'd like me to go to, Cherry.
Well, oh no, just currently, is it just during
Right
placement?
now, I cut right back to the beginning where we're just putting troops on now.
Okay, you see Kite's territory on the south wall between my one and Tyler's. Maybe that's Tyler's stack. I can't tell the number; it's too small on my screen.
Yep.
But you see it.
This
That's where I
territory.
wanted her to put her capital.
Sure.
Because like,
Yeah, that would have been a really good spot.
yes,
I
and
unfortunately
it would have.
missed the beginning of this game, but yeah.
Yeah, it would
Why?
have been a very valuable capital for late game.
Why?
Well, with her current capital, like, it doesn't really it doesn't really block anything off. So with her capital, if she would have put it on that one that was right above that green tower, eventually late game, my capital plus that capital would control more, like the whole right side and a little bit more.
Yes.
So whoever like owns both of those capitals would basically be like really good off.
But
think
devil's
I-
advocate. Okay, you go.
I agree with you. I was I kind of like had a feeling that there was a high possibility that this game could actually possibly go really quickly. Like if somebody just knocked it out of the park like right away. So I was like teetering between this is going to be 8 hours or this is going to be not. And I was more afraid that if I was in a spot like that where I was blocking somebody from getting to where they wanted to be early on, or keeping them tucked away, like how everybody was tucked away behind your cap, that would make me like the first target. Like, you're in my way, I can't get past you, you're my first target. So I was oscillating between those two actually, but I chose rather to not try to not be an early target. At least that was my rationality behind it.
In my thought process of that, it would have been you and me kind of controlled Dareel's fate, so he would have never gotten to be like big at all. He would have been knocked out from the left side and he would have been stuck between you and I. So like either thinking back on your gameplay, I don't think you were going to make allies with anybody, so it's really good for me that it didn't go this way. But basically we would have had a relationship similar to how Cowboy and I had a relationship, and we could have really made that work.
Hey,
but you
John,
would have card blocked
sorry,
me,
I'm
so it
late.
wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well, looking at this video now, I see that that 8 of purple was down there as well. Like, that also could have blocked that row. That exit line for Dareel.
Yeah, early
That was
on,
kind of
I
Tyler's
knew
goal.
I knew these.
I
I knew
think.
these caps cut me off from the bottom half of the board, so I wanted. I wanted to have a stack down there permanently, but I didn't. I wasn't able to. Dareel knocked
Yeah,
me out.
nobody lasted long down there with Dareel. Anybody that contested him was dealt with promptly.
Yeah, it took me and Cherry's collective efforts to put him in a card lock. He really didn't
Yeah.
like it when I was card locking him. So I'd do it every second turn, and I did it for like 15 minutes straight.
Yeah, as long
Hey
as
guys,
everyone
can you hear
agrees
me?
to take care
Yeah,
of
yeah, we
we
can.
hear you.
Yeah, perfect. I thought it wasn't working. Sorry, I'm late.
Yeah, it's all good.
I didn't
So not to
really want
cut
to
off.
relive this game.
I don't
Oh,
want to cut
no.
off anybody that's talking, but you missed the original question, which I'll get back to you. I'll just do it now. So how do you feel? This is for Dareel, by the way. How do you feel about your gameplay, and what do you think you could have done differently to obtain victory?
I think actually something was that Kite that just said that she felt that this game could have gone really far if someone took it. I think it could have been, and I think I was probably best placed to do that, and I think that was my mistake. I should have attacked Cherry's cat straight away when I was getting massive bonuses before the cards went up, rather than focusing down at the bottom and hitting the other stacks. If I just stacked my cap, I could have taken Cherry's cap very quickly.
You could have, yes.
And I think that was my mistake. Once I'd taken that, I don't know what Cowboy and Kite would have done at the bottom. I think xerip also had a stack down there in the bottom tower. So they would have started attacking me back. But if I held those two central cats, I think that would have put me in a very strong position.
Yeah, and I think with Cherry's cat placement, being that it did block you back there, if you were to take that over, I don't see you getting card blocked. I think the timeline of the game completely changes. Cherry would be super upset. She would be the first out, but yeah, I think that would dramatically change your timeline in this game.
Yeah, I think I was just too. It would have been a risky move, and I think when you come into a final, everyone wants to start off playing a little bit conservatively, not taking huge risks straight away, and I think that's what it was. And I should have just done it straight away.
Yeah, well, once I saw that Cowboy didn't put his cap on the territory he selected originally, I figured that your position was nigh unbeatable. Right?
You really think that,
surprised.
Well, we'll skip just a bit forward to where Dareel has a 29 stack exterior and 30 on his cap, right? And he's getting 15 a turn. So this is a 2-point position, one of them being your cap, and you can just bully Tyler completely out of that side of the board, which you eventually did. I figured at that point, I was like, oh, he's just going to run away with this game. Is that what you thought as well?
I did at that point, but I was conscious of the fact that I've only, from this position, I knew there was only, 6 or 7 more hits until I could potentially get card blocked over here. I was worried about reaching that third tower along.
So you were constantly asking yourself when and if the right time to add to your cap, and
it was this that stack kept coming on down here. I think I got too concerned with maintaining the bonus, which I shouldn't have worried about.
Because it eventually becomes insignificant compared to the cards.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of spectators were thinking, oh, well, this is Dareel's game. He's going to win. It's over. And I've played a lot of Progressive, and I played a lot of Capitals, and I knew you were in some danger almost right away.
That's a big reason why I wasn't too worried about him having all that stuff, because I was just thinking, give it another 5 or 6 turns, and those continents won't mean much anymore. And on top of that, now you're in a position to be card locked, because every single entrance that you try to leave from has a capital eventually down the line.
Yeah, that's why. Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, I was just going to interject really quickly about bonuses. Is there, they're valuable in the very beginning, and then, not, but then once you get on to, 8 hours, I realized there was a point where, Cowboy and I had the same-ish number of troops, and we were, collecting bonuses, or we were collecting our trade-ins regularly, but he had bonuses and I didn't. And like a few hours later, he had like 5,000 more troops than me. So they do matter in the very beginning, and then like they kind of don't with the trade-ins, but then once you don't get those exponential trade-ins anymore, it's just 5 plus 5 increments, then they like kind of do again, which I thought was kind of funny.
They weren't mattering, Kite. You were using your troops more aggressively than
You also got
Cowboy
card
would.
locked for a few turns,
And that's
that set you
good as
behind. Yeah.
Fine.
So since you got set behind, that's my entire process. Was I was thinking, well, Kite right now, me and her are tied for the least troops, right? But she's currently card locked. So every turn that I can manage to hold this card lock, I am gaining a significant ground on troops on her, and that's why I had like 2 whole matches before you finally were able to break that card lock. So it put me like 5,000 troops ahead at that point.
You're good point. I forgot about that.
Well, yeah, there was a bit of a war in the early to mid game.
Definitely a war.
Oh yeah, and I'm watching right here where Ray did a cap hit on Cowboy, who had taken Dareel's cap, and it was a struggle for you, Ray, to hold capitals. You got the second one here, and I think this was the last time you had 2, and then you eventually lost your original. And this is where I noticed that, okay, Ray and Cowboy are likely next to get knocked out, which isn't how the story went. But if you look at this point in the game, we're now 3 3/4 hours in. Ray and Cowboy have around 6,000 troops apiece. And everyone else is nearly double that. Xerip is double that. Xerip has 12,000. Cherry, and Tyler as well, has 12,000. Cherry has 10,000. So the fact that you guys were able to catch back up from here surprised me.
Me too. But other than the fact that like once I lost all my capitals, there was no reason to kill me.
My big insight on how like I felt about it at the time, because that definitely was on my mind. I was stressing about it at first. Then I realized this game ain't going anywhere anytime soon, and every single trade-in that progresses, our differences won't like increase, right? So I'll always be like 6,000 troops behind. But give that 30 or so trade-ins, those 6,000 individual troops don't mean much when we all have 40,000 troops, you know? So the longer the game went, the less that actual difference mattered in troop size. And that's kind of what my thought process was, that I'm not out of it yet. Because if I can let this game go longer, then eventually it won't actually matter anymore. And that's why in the end Tyler had like 40,000 more troops than me, but it just didn't matter because there were so many troops on the board that by that point it didn't really impact anything. And then Cherry hit him and I got a leg up from that, so.
I'd also like to point something else out at this moment. So we're 3 1/4 hours in, and this is when Cherry started stacking on the far east northern tower, which I thought was really interesting and a really savvy move by Cherry. What do you think about that, Cherry? What was your thought process of putting a reserve stack as far away and off to the side? This is even before Cowboy held that continent and you started trading with him for hours.
Actually, I believe my first time putting troops back on that tower was a 10 stack, and it was when Cowboy still had that capital.
Right.
The first time.
It was a 10 stack, but I'm just looking at it. And now you put a trade in. You put a full trade in there. So this is when it got real. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Initially, my 10 stack was to I was putting a toe in the water. And then after it not being noticed or bothered, I was like, okay, let's see what happens if I put a trade in back there. Basically, I didn't want to lose that spot, and I was trying to be as not noticeable as possible with that.
You're just trying to hide them in plain sight?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I noticed. And I bet you everyone else noticed too.
I didn't want to not be in that part of the map. I wanted to always be there. Because no matter what, I felt because that was the second time the capital, well, that was technically, the fourth time that capital had changed hands. So, I just wanted to stay back in that area.
You want to have two places. You want to have 2 pieces of the board. And you want to be as inoffensive about it as possible. Right? You want to make friends wherever you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that play was very smart.
Same.
Because you having troops back there just means that, like, only one person in this game can end your game.
Exactly.
Or they can utilize you back there, as
Mhm.
Cowboy was saying. With the way that Cowboy utilized Cherry back there for this infinite card thing. At the moment, what we're looking at in the game is Kite is holding that territory. Does Kite do the same thing with Cherry?
I don't think Kite ever came in. I just left a 7 there and she never broke it, I don't think. Or maybe she may have broke it once.
No. So my question is if Kite doesn't lose that capital, because in a few turns, Cowboy will go really heavy to take that capital back. Let's say he doesn't do that, and Kite maintains that capital. Do you trade cards with Kite, and does Kite trade cards with you?
No.
No.
She would take me out. She would take me out from there. There's absolutely no way Kite would have kept me behind her.
Right. All right, and I'm going to
Sorry.
rewind just a little bit back more, where Kite says, I had no capitals and all my troops were off the cap, so I'm no longer a threat. Early on...
Not a threat, but not necessarily valuable to kill.
Valuable to kill. Now, before you came in here, you were still driving at the time. Before you joined us, Cherry had said that she regretted not ending you at that point.
Yes.
As soon as I was off my caps.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't as soon as you were off.
I think everybody regretted not ending me. And that was my mission, kind of.
Including yourself.
Yeah. Also including myself. I mean, I had fun. I definitely realized with the way people were playing that I probably could stick around and be big and scary for a while. So I liked it that it was like I can maybe try to actually plan and stack up and get a capital back. Possibly. I might not be out of this. But then by the end of it, when it was 10 hours later and I was still only in 5th place, I kind of regretted it too. So
Kite.
Well, I want to have here 1 second.
Okay.
With your capital placement and knowing how like the game happens now, would you change capitals? Your location? Your starting location?
I think that Cherry was right about that other spot. Right now there's a 4,500 stack of Cowboys on it, but I didn't have the foresight to see that that's where the game was going to end up. To me, they were just like they both had 3 territories you could hit, and one seemed to make me more of a target, and the other made me less of a target. So those were my possibly. I didn't love being the 5th person to choose. Obviously, nobody would love that, right? So.
Well, you do get one thing out of that. You get information. You get to know where everyone else is going.
Yeah, so you can kind of pick based on what other players will do, right?
Oh, that's when I stepped off my cap.
That's when you stepped off your cap. Yes.
Why did I do that?
You probably...
Can you rewind so I can see it?
The right card lock, yeah.
It was a card lock?
Tyler. Yeah, you were card locked.
Okay.
And how many cards did I have? 2? 3? I didn't have a trade in.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I was card locked. Okay.
Yeah, that was actually my question. I was going to ask you, were you card blocked? 'Cause I know, like, I was obviously in the game, and I rewatched the game, but I still didn't remember that part. And I asked you, and you're like, I don't remember either.
I do remember frantically trying to be like, somebody unblock me, please. But I didn't. Yeah. Okay. Now I remember.
Yeah, you were. I think you got card blocked the most in this game.
Yes.
Card blocked like 5 different times.
I think
and like all of them lasted
card
a few
blocked the
turns.
most.
I also did card block the most. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
It was probably well earned. It was well earned card blocking.
So this is the moment where Ray loses her cap and doesn't really regain it. Like, you move through Cherry's cap later, but...
And then Cowboy takes it right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, no.
I was wanting to get it, and I was thinking to myself, Tyler, if you take that fucking cap, I'm gonna smash right through you, buddy. Don't take that cap. And then he took it, so I was like, well, fuck it.
Honestly, I was surprised that xerip didn't... But he did then eventually, didn't he?
Yeah, eventually
He
took it, and then Tyler took it off him again.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't take it earlier. So I thought it was going to be like
I guess he
right
didn't
in
want to
there. I thought it was
spread
gonna
his
be...
caps. Right.
Yeah, probably. I thought it was going to be Tyler took it, and then your turn, and then you take it, and then xerip's turn, he take it. I thought it was going to be a back-to-back-to-back thing, and just xerip waited longer, I guess.
I sadly, very sadly, don't have 13 hours now, so I gotta run actually. But thanks for letting me share my thoughts. I mean, if anybody has a really burning question that I can answer, in
I got
like 2
one.
minutes.
I got one question for you.
Okay.
When you moved
Hit me.
through Cherry,
Yeah.
why?
It wasn't really supposed to be a move.
You were
through
trying to
there.
get a cap again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then you were like, "Oh God, she's gonna kill me."
Yeah. Then
Yeah.
I was like, oh wait, I'm dead. And
Yeah.
I
Okay.
didn't want to be dead.
Okay.
I already survived that long, so.
That answers that. I was wondering why didn't Stove and I in the moment were wondering why you didn't stay there. Why
Yeah,
you
I
accepted
got-
the bully.
Because I knew 100% that Cherry was gonna fully smack into me.
I was.
Yep.
And I knew even if she failed, I was gonna be picked up by somebody else then. And I was like, fine, okay, fine. And I was trying to be like, here's me frantically trying to be like, I'm gonna give her a fight. She can try to take it, but the stupid slider is like 3 miles long.
Yeah. You're gonna give her 500 troops to eat.
I know that was kind of like pointless, essentially.
I think.
Well, I respect.
I think it killed
you
double
leaving
of my
on
troops,
there.
so it was good.
Yeah.
It was a good move.
Yeah,
but,
you shouldn't give away a capital for free.
Yeah, never.
Yeah, I was trying, but I was hoping for a little more than 500. You know, the slider.
Kite, before you go, I've had like multiple days to think about this game and like rewatch it and everything, and I've found my own mistakes. I've found other players' mistakes, and I just want to let you know from my perspective, I think you played the absolute best. I did not find a move that you did wrong. Like before I told you that I thought you walking off Kappa was a bad idea, and then you were like, then we were like, maybe you were card blocked, and then we were like, yeah, that makes sense. And now we see you were card blocked, so that was the best move too. And like I told you earlier, hitting my capital, that was an amazing move as well. Like out of all the players you played, I want to say like this doesn't make, I can't think of a word, but I want to say cleanest. Like you didn't like have a mistake.
Well, I'm so
And you
glad that I didn't make any mistakes and got 50.
I know, it's so bad. But like
It's okay though. I appreciate you saying that. Sure.
Yeah. Stepping off of your cap, how far you got was like absolutely the best possibilities that could have happened after the stepping off of the cap part. So like it was a perfect game. From that point, from like what you were dealt, that was a perfect game. So
I agree, Ray. You had it. You didn't. You chose to leave, and that's your prerogative, right? But you didn't.
Right.
You weren't beat when you left, right? As I'll fast forward now. Ray did a even suicide into everyone to quit this game.
Yeah.
She didn't give anyone an advantage or disadvantage.
I tried my best too.
Yeah, which I think is a very honorable exit.
Yes.
I was gonna say the exact same
Yeah.
words.
Same.
Honorable exit.
Yes.
Unlike
It was.
I'm waiting for Zerp to return.
Oh yeah, me too.
Oh yeah, xerip's not here. It was a really hard to. I think I've told a lot of people. I don't think I've told Cowboy this yet, but I wanted to smash everything I had into Cowboy.
That was obvious.
I wanted to.
that was you were not hiding that.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, and I just physically couldn't anymore. I could hardly feel my hand. I could feel myself falling asleep. I had somewhere I knew I had to be in the morning, and I physically felt like I couldn't actually do it. So I gave it everything I had, but thanks, guys. You were very worthy opponents.
Right. One more thing, because I do have my last burning question.
Okay.
What started that war between you and Cowboy?
I would probably
Took my cap.
Yeah. Well, when I lost my original capital, it was pretty much his fault, and then he just like kept smacking into stacks of mine, like nobody's business, and that just really pissed me off. I guess I don't know.
So you're playing the game with emotion here. Is that what you're telling me?
I was like, well,
I
you're
mean,
gonna
she
smack
didn't.
my stacks. I'm gonna smack your stacks. If that's what I felt like. I guess I can't remember. I think I just was really peeved about my capital being card blocked like that and I wasn't a huge fan of him trading cards with Cherry because I didn't think he had to. I felt like Cherry relied on that more than him. I felt like he could have.
Oh no, Cherry had multiple options to get cards with her capital placement.
I just feel like
Do
he
you
was
think
so...
that it was a bad move from my part then? Is that something you're saying?
I don't know whether it was a good move or a bad move, but it really pissed me off.
I think a lot of people felt that way too. I think everybody didn't like
off.
Yeah.
I think it pissed you off because it was such a good move.
If you say so.
All right.
Thank you, Ray. Thanks a lot for coming.
Yeah, thank you, Ray.
Appreciate it.
Congrats to the top 3, and have a good night. Maybe I'll pop if you're still on later. Maybe I'll listen in.
All right.
Good night.
Thank you for joining us here.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
On the note of being pissed off with Cowboy, I was also really pissed off with Cowboy when he when I took my last remaining stack off the capital, and then he decided to come round and kill me. I thought I could at least survive a little bit off.
My thought process was I didn't want you, like, any players dragging us out any longer. You weren't going to, like, make a comeback. You had, like, 100 troops, and for the balance of the game, I just wanted to get you over with. So I was like, nope, get your stack out of here.
I just wanted to roll around for a little bit, grow a little bit.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, it didn't happen. I thought, but I could understand it if you took me out and took me for my cards, but you just took my stack and left the rest of me there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
are you getting to that
what was the thinking there? Yeah, well, what was the thinking there, Cowboy? Why wouldn't you just go for the kill? Because Cherry had it blocked, right?
I think Cherry had it blocked.
So you had to choose between Cherry inevitably getting the kill anyways. I'm trying to find the splits.
There, that's it. There.
Right there. You're right on the spot.
Okay, cool.
But yeah.
Honestly, I didn't want him get it. The biggest thing for me was that I wanted to smash his deck now, so he wasn't posing any extra value for Cherry, and so we could just get him out of the game so we could progress to the next stage, where now it's a 5-player game,
Yeah.
It was very much I don't want this to drag on any longer than it has to, and until Dareel dies, nothing's going to change. So we need to get him out of here.
So
He's
that's
already basically dead.
Very risky from your seat, though, because you have 2 players with 1.5 plus times your force. At this moment, you're trying to make that calculus.
The biggest thing for me, though, was I was thinking Tyler, almost all of his weight
Cherry
is inside himself.
teamed up. It wasn't just you. Or did she?
Yeah.
Or did she open the road?
She helped me out. She was the one who card blocked him originally, right?
So
we were working together to kind of do that.
This maybe was the beginning of you and Cherry's sort of get no? Tell me.
The beginning of it was when he initially hit Dareel out of the little area beats underneath our caps.
Yeah.
He hit Dareel, and then I went through, and then I card blocked him, and then he came through, and then finished off Dareel on the outside, and then I killed Dareel finally.
And you guys are from then on best buds in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. Well, that's what xerip saw.
Yeah, xerip definitely recognized that. And I don't think anybody liked that alliance, and it was the strongest one in this game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It certainly
was
set you guys
far,
up. It set you guys up to be the final 2 there.
Yeah.
And that was really my
Oh.
goal, was that I was just thinking, you know what, like, even if, for some reason, you know, I make some big fucky mistake here, if I can get, like, top 2 at least, that's all I really care about, man. That would make me happy, you know what? So, having an ally makes that infinitely easier, because while everyone else is fighting each other, you know, we're just trading cards, having a good time.
And honestly,
with Dareel here, real quick. So, have you had a chance to watch this recap, this game?
No, I haven't. I didn't see what happened after. I enjoyed my night off.
So
I
when you
came
got
in
knocked
a
out,
couple of
did you spectate at all?
I spectated for about another hour after that,
Okay.
and then remember, there's one thing. I think I was the only one in the UK here, right? So for me, the start time was 8 p.m. So when I got knocked out, it was already, it was 9:30, 10 p.m. And I'm guessing I woke up in the morning and looked and I saw that you guys were still playing. So I went to bed, woke up, and everyone was still there. No, I just not. I didn't feel good about the game, so I didn't really want to go back and rewatch it. But it's interesting now. Now I'm feeling better, okay now. So I do want to know what happened later after I left.
Do you think it was like a welcomed defeat? Like maybe it's just for the best.
Oh yeah, there was definitely part of that. When I saw it was still going on in the morning, I don't think I would have lasted. I think around 6 a.m. my time, which would have been, I don't know, where were you at that point? So that would have been 10 hours in to the game, 9 or 10 hours. I would have definitely had to leave and bot out. So it's probably for the best that I died early.
Well, I kept figuring the game was going to go long enough for you to wake up and see that it was still going. And then you would have been like, well, mercifully, I didn't have to.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got sleep. Yeah. I managed to go to work the next day, so all good.
Rewatching the game in the Twitch chat, I saw that spectators were saying that Dareel was the real winner because he didn't have to sit through this game.
Right.
Yeah, I could agree with that, yeah.
That presumes that it's not a fun time.
Yeah, I definitely think progressive caps is not a setting for the final. It shouldn't happen again.
Yeah,
I remember the tournament.
I'm not going to be doing that again. I'm going to go world down.
I remember the Q1 2020 tournament was literally progressive caps the whole way through the tournament. And you remember, Stove, there were some ridiculous games, but even to get all the way to the final, I think there was at least 40 or 50 hours worth of playtime over the course of 6 weeks. And
7 weeks.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was
7
very
weeks.
long.
Yeah.
And I was in that final too, and that was a very long game. Tumor actually went to sleep after playing a few hours, came back, and was still alive. Yeah, that was very interesting. So my second part to that question was, I mean, you didn't watch it, but you've heard these other participants talking about their plays and their moves and stuff. Which one, in your opinion, is your favorite move?
Oh, well, from later in the game?
Yeah.
I haven't seen enough of it really to say that. I'm not sure yet exactly what happened at the end. I've heard discussions now of what happened between Kite and Cowboy. But I haven't seen how it was won in the end. That's not something I've seen yet. When I left, I thought xerip would win. I thought he was in the best position to win. But obviously it went very differently. I think I was watching. I was on with Pete for a little while, watching and listening to him, and I agreed with him when Cowboy and Ray started attacking each other. I thought that would be the end of them two. But
yeah, a lot of us.
I don't know why it didn't go that way. Yeah, I don't know why it didn't go that way. So I haven't seen enough. I haven't seen the end yet. So maybe I have to sit down and watch it through. And I'll probably learn now later on once you get to the end. Have you discussed the end yet?
I can give you a slight recap at the end.
Yeah, go for it.
Actually, do you have Pete's Twitch open right now? He can put us there.
Where do you want me to go?
Final 3 and final Cap versus Cap.
Final
versus
3.
Tyler.
Okay, so xerip is...
xerip's already out at this point.
Yeah, this is where xerip... Okay, so we'll start here. This is where xerip says, "Hey, Cherry, I'm going to punch you right in the face." This is the end of xerip's game.
Yeah, this is what was this, 12 and a half hours?
So Cowboy and Cherry have been trading over this territory for
10 hours.
10 hours.
4.
Yeah.
I think it was like 4, but okay.
Well,
it was a really long time.
Yeah.
No, far longer than 4. Maybe
Yeah, I
not
think
10,
longer.
but let's
Somewhere in
let's
there.
split the
6.
difference and say 7.
Okay, 7.
Okay, so Ray did a even suicide into all 4 players and hit caps, as I recall. It wasn't stacks; it was caps. And then on xerip's next turn, you see how he's lined up for it. He's going to punch through Cherry's cap.
I think he can.
And then
The last angry face.
yeah. Yeah, good game. Oh yeah, you know it's coming now. It was very suspenseful in the moment. You can see my video shows 3 a.m. my time. So what would that have been? That would have been your time. No, Cowboy, it would have been an hour before for Cowboys for 2.
I think it's 3 a.m. for Cherry as well.
Yeah, for your time, Cherry.
I think it's 3 a.m. for all of you.
To be honest, I believe it was.
Tyler's an hour before me.
What time did you guys start?
Okay.
What time was the start time?
2 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
What's that? +4 for you?
You know,
It was like 2. It was 2:45 actually because it was delayed, right? So it would have been closer to 3 p.m.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay. So now we have Cherry's cap has been cut in half, but the relationship with Cowboy was super solid, and xerip's ghost survives a bit, gets to match in for a while, but this is all where Tyler is trying to establish position, and you see he slowly expands to a place where he can't get any more cards. And then what? And then what happens, guys?
Cowboy says no. Goes in there and just
tell us about this end game. 3 players remain.
Which one?
All of you. I want whatever works.
Cowboy and Cherry had cards forever, and I didn't. That's all you need. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm most curious about Tyler's opinion here because we know what Cowboy and Cherry are gonna do. They're gonna continue doing the trades there, and they're gonna bleed out Tyler slowly.
I had a lot of time to think about it, and there was nothing I could come up with other than punch his cap and take whatever I got out of that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
it was pretty much it though.
They had cards forever, and I didn't. They could have just chose to, or they could have and would have just chose to attack in that east corner there, and I had no access to it. So eventually I would have attacked my last territory on the outside, and there would be nothing left. No more cards.
What do you think about that, Stove?
Well, I think, at the time when he had all those capitals, and I think the only one he was missing was Cowboy's capital, correct?
Yep, I had 5.
Yep, it was just mine.
And then we've seen some crazy capital hits. Like when Kite attacked Cherry's capital, she did so with like a positive hit.
Yeah, she attacked a 17,000 and lost 14,000. So I was like, that's what I need. It's just random.
Yeah. So I was originally thinking, okay, this might be possible.
Okay, so here's the moment. We have 143,000 versus 145,000, and Tyler's gonna smack it.
Yeah, and they both exchanged good lucks at that point. We knew
Oh,
that
yeah.
this good attack was coming.
This
like
was the end of this game, right here.
And
Yeah.
I was decently confident too. That wasn't some.
Oh no, you added a match. You added a match. You have a couple hundred troops on him.
It was practically dead even.
Practically even, yeah.
And with broken Blitz, I was like, well, there's a decent chance I'd win.
And
I have a question.
What's up?
What was how many troops did xerip suicide into my capital? And were those troop numbers similar, like a similar difference as
see. So xerip's coming at you with 126 to 114. Does he add anything to that?
Cherry adds before, so I think Cherry's around 116 or something like that.
Okay.
On her turn.
Okay.
There's a little button at the bottom, Pete, where you can skip ahead 30 seconds.
Thanks, man.
Or go back to
Perfect. We got it. Was that it?
I don't know.
126. No worries yet. 126 too. Xerip puts in 12 troops. Yeah, and he pops it right off the bat.
So it was 126 to 1 what?
Let's go one more time.
116.
Yeah.
So it was very similar odds, and very similar differences between the troops.
Yeah.
Yes.
My roll was like exactly the same, slightly larger scale.
Yeah. So my question for you is: you literally just saw xerip do that, and saw that he lost, and I still had half. I don't understand how you got to thinking that you thought you could win the cap hit.
Because
there was cap hits prior.
Yeah.
We're not going off of just your cap hit. We're going off of all the cap hits we've seen in the game.
Yeah, I know, but this was the most recent one, and it was the most similar in size.
It was, but like I didn't know why some were very much in favor of the attacker. I didn't know why. I had no idea. If it was, there's no reason for me to believe that a 40,000 cap hit should have significantly different odds than a 140,000 cap hit.
Yeah.
This is recency bias, yes? Just because something happened recently, you can't conclude that it is. And this is where Cowboy just swings through in a straight line, knocks all the caps, and ends the game, right? This is the very line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ties me for third.
I'm sorry, Cherry. I still feel so bad about that. Like, I actually feel really bad for tying you on third. But it's
you should feel bad. She was your best ally in this game.
You couldn't have given her a second?
The only reason that I did it was because I was so scared that I would fuck it up somehow. So I was just like, I need to just haul ass. I just need to go.
No, I understand. And, like, I've rewatched it, and I, like, come to conclusions about it. And, like, I definitely feel like I played... Definitely in the end game, I played to where my placement is where my placement should be. So, don't feel bad about not giving me second, because honestly, I'd much rather have the third that I played at than to be given second. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
That's a very mature attitude.
I want to run a timeline here. So, like, I'm going to change the timeline of the game. So, Tyler, you're lining up, you're anticipating you're just going to be stuck for the rest of the game. Somewhere in here, Cherry takes all her troops and she puts it all the way into that bottom right tower. Leaving all the capitals at once. She's out of the way completely. If she was to leave that stack on one capital, so you now own, what would it be, 4 out of 6 capitals, do you still do the suiciding move, or do you knock out Cherry first?
Oh, hell no. I would have had to kill... I would have had to have killed like 250,000 with 140,000, which is just not possible. Oh, that's...
Yeah, especially on cap
9,000
defense.
stacks?
Yeah,
so only like 9,000.
Well, the 9,000 eventually
got... I think it was like 10,000 at top. I think it was 10,000 at
if it's still a 10,000 stack, I don't see how I could have overcame it in a different way.
I think as soon as like it came down to 3 people and I killed xerip, I think that was just kind of the end at that point. Like, you either had to hit my cap or else you were just going to lose eventually due to not having cards, right?
Yeah, like, if she left that 10,000 on one of the caps, I would be far less confident in it working, but I would still see no better option.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, you'd still have to go for it.
Well, now you're making me kick myself in the ass even more.
What else should I do? I don't see any other option.
Yeah.
This also changes the timeline for Cowboy, because he's slightly weakened, and then she's gonna have around 10,000 on one of these capitals. So I'm wondering.
Yeah, but I came off of Tyler's attack with 60k troops remaining. I don't think any defense that Cherry could have put up would have actually been a problem, you know? Like, she just literally had none.
At the top right as well.
How was...
20,000.
Before
No,
your
but the
last
10k
attack,
wouldn't
how
be able to
many
get to a
troops did you
cap,
have?
right? So the only thing she could
would
possibly
fortify.
bring...
She
Well,
would
no,
have
but
to
you
fortify one
can't,
of the
because
turns.
it would still have to go through my cap, so she wouldn't be able to get to a
the
cap.
outside 10 cap.
Yeah,
The outside
Oh,
10k.
The
Yeah.
9,600. Yeah.
So,
Well,
how
even
much,
that, though, I don't know. I don't think it
How
would
many
block a
troops did-
60k.
when you had 5 caps, so you haven't taken the 6th cap yet, how many troops did you have remaining in that roaming stack that was taking caps?
Like, literally, like, 59k. Like, I had so many. There was no way that nothing you did was been a
Yeah,
problem.
I don't think a 10k stack would have stood up, even if it was the 6th capital. I don't think it would have stood up to like a 60k stack.
I think that there's just no possible way, once he hit me,
Yeah.
for me to lose that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what changes now is if Cherry decides to take one of these 1 capitals, puts her troops on there, or maybe doesn't put her troops on there, but takes that bottom 12,000 to block Cowboy inside, and then takes the top 10,000 to block Cowboy inside, therefore card blocking Cowboy, because now Tyler is sitting there very heavily, to which that wasn't successful for Tyler, so I'm thinking it's not going to be successful for Cowboy either.
So this,
No,
this
I
was
probably
the
would have
moment.
just sat there with Tyler awkwardly. We would have just been having a staring contest
Yeah.
until one of us decided to
This-
risk it.
This was the moment I thought
think-
Cherry could have taken advantage. Is that what you're getting at, Stove?
If I
Yeah,
would have card
yeah.
blocked Cowboy,
Well,
Yeah.
or
and
or
then,
you
like,
could have just
started working
pivoted.
with Tyler.
You could have just
Yeah.
pivoted.
If she card blocked Cowboy, I would win. I don't think she could have done
I feel like I could break that card lock, though. Like, I think with the amount of forces I had, because of a cap defense, I would totally be able to break it.
It would have taken you like 10 turns to fortify off enough to break her 10k cap.
Yeah,
Or
but
10K.
that wouldn't be like relevant though, right? Because after those 10 turns, I'm free again to make cards. Like, I get cards for at least another like 5 turns.
Not if she soft
How are you
blitzes
free?
the troops you're putting there to get it.
Yeah, but
under
then she's
square.
continuously losing troops, right? So
But
then
yeah,
event-
she
it'll
But I'm
just-
also
back
getting
to
cards
advantage.
though.
Yeah, she would still be getting cards where you wouldn't, and then she could soften your stack that's
Yeah.
there each turn.
Where would she get cards from?
From
With
Tyler.
With
I
Tyler.
Oh,
would
okay.
give her cards, yeah.
Not saying I would have stabbed you in the back. I was definitely always going to be your ally in that game. There was no changing of that. But that was just a hypothetical. Like I wouldn't.
Yeah,
have
nothing you
card
would
blocked
have
you.
done would have resulted in you winning. It would have just changed the winner to someone else.
So you guys think no matter what, Cherry is second place?
She just didn't have the troops because
first.
and her
There's-
her stuff was blocked inside herself, so she had no way to take advantage. Even if we did total each other, she'd have to
I
take
think
too many
the
turns.
only possible scenario is that I hit the 140k cap and I don't.
Like,
think
I have
it's
like 100
taken
left
down to,
on
like,
it. That's like it.
Yeah,
Okay.
taken down to like 100.
Question: what if I don't ram my capital into Tyler's capital?
I think we would have just sat there
You
for many
still
more hours,
completely
but
outplay me.
yeah. I think you still had no chance.
We couldn't sit there for hours because I wouldn't have cards.
Yeah. So eventually Tyler would have to just hit you or me, right? Because he'd run out of things to take of me, and he'd run out of things to take of you if we both just sat there. So then he has to hit one of us. So Tyler would just basically
I could
choose
have
a
waited the
winner.
game like another hour longer, but it would have done absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
What if
I
Xerip
just-
doesn't
I
end
would've-
his
I
game on
would've hit,
Cherry?
like,
Oh, if Xerip
Xerip
stuck
didn't end this
around,
game on
yeah,
chair.
that would change everything.
I think that then the game would have gone much longer and it would have been a lot more interesting because Xerip at the time had like 2 caps, right? But he started letting Tyler get one of them. So if Tyler went to try and hold 3 caps, then
pretty close to it.
yeah.
Why did Xerip choose Cherry? Did something happen before that?
Because he said that apparently he wanted to spice it up and he didn't see a way for her to win it. So it's just like, well, since she's not gonna win this game anyway, I may as well make it end quicker with my exit, right? Rather doing an equal hit like Kite did, and then prolonging the match further.
Yeah, he's not going to be in it anymore, so...
Well,
I
yeah,
heard
but I don't
a
know.
different answer from xerip.
Oh, okay. Then
Yeah.
my bad.
Well, xerip included a very detailed string of messages with me with timestamps, and seeing as how we're now an hour and a half into this, let me just in case he doesn't come back, let me just speak for him in his own words, and then assuming that you guys have nothing else to say, just to touch on these notes, because 1 hour and 33 minutes in, moment when Cherry decides to help out Cowboy and block Dareel. This was the start of their great relationship. I don't know if I need to pull up every single one of these moments, because we've all been renewing this memory. 2 hours, 23 minutes in, Kite decides to block Cherry. Gutsy move. Weird move, because Cherry can easily get cards from another reason. Did Kite see that? And then right after that, 2 hours and 25 minutes, Kite doubles down and blocks Cherry again. Another reason, in another region. Wow, gutsy move, amazing move. Cherry will be blocked for 1 round. It's not a real card block, because Cherry can attack Kite from her capital, and that would hurt both of them really good. Let me just see if I can actually bring these up on stream. 2 hours and 30 minutes in. Now we're there. Okay. 2 hours, 30 minutes in. Cowboy also joins in card blocks Cherry. Cherry is toast. Or so I thought. Yeah, I remember this. We're going through xerip's individual thought process here. 2 hours and 39 minutes. Cherry moves out of her capital. Only Cowboy can take her free capital. Will he? In 2 hours, 40 minutes, Cherry's still card blocked. She decides to put all 9 of her troops in the top right territory. What? Why? This is a move from the ultra top players. This is Cherry's brilliant mind at work. She just created a third section in the game. A third section that can only be reached by her and Cowboy. Her 9 troops signal to Cowboy, hey, want to have an alliance? We have this third section just for ourselves. Come on. Will Cowboy understand what just happened? 2 hours and 42 minutes, 40 seconds. Cowboy takes his turn. He doesn't fully ally with Cherry. And then Cherry has a 3-card trade-in all the time. You can sense his frustration because he's commenting in all caps. She could have unblocked herself before, but she was being strategic. She finally decides to unblock herself and get cards in the top section. Expels Kite from the top section. Kite then retreats. 2 hours and 43 minutes, 46 seconds. xerip's biggest mistake. I should have traded in and blocked Cherry, or just fortified a medium stack near her to show that I am all out on blocking Cherry. I was too passive. I thought I could lay low. This was a huge mistake on my end. I didn't recognize the potential of the third region by Cherry and Cowboy. Okay, now we skipped through an hour into the future. 3 hours, 38 minutes. Kite wants the bottom continent and tries to block Cowboy. However, Kite failed to realize Cowboy has an exclusive region with Cherry, and they could have their strong alliance. 3 hours, 44 minutes. Kite takes Cowboy's capital. Such a brilliant move. However, it cost her a lot of troops. 4 hours and 5 minutes. Cowboy moves all out to reclaim the previous capital. He believes this is the key to success. The future shows him he was right. Gutsy move, but definitely the right move. This is where Cowboy takes Dareel's original capital. And then we have 4 hours and 8 minutes. 4 hours and 8 minutes. OMG moment. I was stunned. If you look closely, Cowboy lost 1,199 troops, and Kite lost 1,946 troops. This is a dice glitch, confirmed by Lucy. Cowboy should have lost 3,325. He got 2,200 more troops than he should have. He had 6618, but had to have 4418. Okay, so we have a dice glitch moment when Cowboy blitzes this cap, I'm guessing? Yeah, that's what xerip is seeing. Cowboy should have lost twice as many. Okay.
Yeah, he lost dramatically under.
Right. Dramatically under. Okay. 4 hours 36 minutes was Cowboy card blocked. He took out Cherry's 7 troops on the top right continent, hoping for an ally. Will Cherry be his ally? And then, yep, the answer is yes. And you guys go for that, whatever, 6 hour, 7 hour run where you trade, right? Where you trade cards. All right. And then we push now an hour and a half into the future, 6 hours. I'm so glad xerip did this because it's so comprehensive and it helps you all.
Was that the first time? Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Was that the first time that he broke into that that bonus?
Yeah.
For our card trade?
I'm guessing.
What time? Like the most recent timestamp. I was just wondering because I wanted to see how many troops I already had on the tower.
Okay, so we get to 4 hours and 37 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
4 hours 37 minutes even. Looks like Cherry will be Cowboy's ally. Right.
I can't. My screen is so small. What does it say?
4 hours 37. Oh, what are you? What's your question?
How many troops do I have on that tower in the
1666 is what you have.
Okay.
It was a meme number. Okay. Yes.
Yes.
It was a meme number. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else, or shall I keep going?
No, keep going. Keep going.
Okay. Where are we? 6 hours and 8 minutes. And xerip says, I give Cherry an angry face because she's not card-blocking Cowboy. I see now that this will be a really painful way to win. Actually, probably, I won't win. Frowny face. 6 hours and 14 minutes. Everyone was getting ready to card-block me. Tyler and Kite included. I can't hold 3 capitals and protect against card blocks. I decide to leave 1 capital so I don't get 5th. Right. That gave power to Tyler, but I didn't want to take the risk. That was probably a mistake on my end. Come to think of it, I also made another mistake. The logical path was to card block Kite next. Then it was natural to card block Cowboy. So there you go. That's the best I could do with what xerip gave me.
Oh, did it just stop after a while?
Sorry?
Did it just stop after a while?
That was the last piece he gave me.
And how long of the game was that?
About 5 hours in. That's when he realized he was not going to win this.
Yeah.
Because you were consistently trading back there with Cherry, and it's just not possible at this point. Not for him.
So given that his conclusion was what he did. And without him here to ask. we can't move on. Oh, I know, buddy. I know.
So why didn't he suicide into Cowboy?
There's so many.
Yeah.
That's the question. Like, why did he particularly choose Cherry? Like,
well,
there was other options.
I have an answer to that, and it was also directly from him. But he said that he saw me as his nemesis, and that's why he chose me to suicide into.
So you're his biggest threat in this game.
Like by choice, or is that just how things run?
In this game, he just saw me as being the thing that was keeping him from winning.
Did he see you as the winner?
I don't remember him saying that, so I'm not going to answer because I don't know.
Okay.
And you could say the same from my perspective, is that you stopped me from winning.
That is an infinite logical pathway. Goes in every direction.
Yeah.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. So, seems like we're getting close to wrapping up this story. Is there anything any of you guys feel like we missed or would like to say?
Well, I mean, answering Stove's question earlier, now I've seen the end. It's good to know that Cowboy Cherry kind of alliance that knocked me out ultimately won the game for one of them. And I think xerip's hit at the end there looks. I think he got annoyed at you, Cherry, just because you were blocking. You were aiding Cowboys win. I think that's where he just seemed to. I can understand what he said to you in that, you know, it's almost not saying that he didn't think that you could win, but I think it appeared that you aided Cowboys win almost. Rather than go for the win yourself, where at some point alliances are there, but every time in Risk, alliances are only up to a point. I think having an undying alliance from the start to the end of a game can sometimes get annoying to other players. You know, you want people to switch alliances, or you want to try and tempt them to say, you know, come work with me, stop working with that person, and let's get that person out.
That's what Xerip wanted. He wanted me to backstab Cowboy and start trading with him because he saw his only way of being able to win was if he was then aligned with me rather than Cowboy.
Yeah, and usually that's, I mean, all the time, that's how it will be. It's, you know, where you've got 3 players, it's the 2 that decide to work together to get rid of the third. Now, when there's 3 of you, if you're the one that's been picked out and the other 2 are working together, then you're going to feel aggrieved. But it's not that it's wrong, you know, it just has to happen. Someone's got to be in that position. So, yeah, it's just one of those positions. What's interesting is that my cap seems to be the pivotal cap throughout the whole game. That one in the middle. People were saying it was cursed earlier, but in the end, it ended up being the winning cap.
It certainly controlled the largest part of the board.
Yeah.
So, Cherry, would you say that loyalty is a hallmark of your gameplay?
Yes. It is, not only did it bother people in this game, but it bothers people in pretty much any prog caps game that I play in. I'm almost infamous for always having an alliance in a game, and it always makes people mad at me.
And you're not willing to change.
Yeah.
No, that's my playstyle. That's how I prefer it, I guess.
Right on.
Yeah.
Style is style. No one presumes to tell you what correct style is. Certainly not me, at least.
No, I respect it. I respect the loyalty. I mean, I think nothing pisses me off more in a game when other than when an ally turns on you. You think, hold on, I just helped you get to this position, and then you turned on me. So I respect it, and I think me myself, if I'm allied with someone, I would only usually turn on them if it's for a
literal game. Yeah, if it's like a game win right then in that turn.
Yeah, it's like, okay, now I'm going to take you out and win the game, but up until then, you're my ally.
I think most really good Risk players would agree with that assessment, though, right? You don't want to betray someone until it's too late for them. Yes?
Yeah.
I like how we all agree immediately.
Well, that's like the core idea of Risk, right? Is that a lot of it is politicking and stuff, but obviously, eventually you have to win. So, I think nobody feels angry when they get betrayed as long as that betrayal leads to, like, the player winning the game. But I'm very annoyed when I get betrayed and it doesn't actually advantage the player any further. So it's just like, well, now you just wasted both our time.
That's the oops moment. That's why the oops emote is there, yes?
Yeah.
Well, this has been tons of fun, guys. Thank you all for coming and doing this.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
Anything else, Stove, that you want to touch on while we have everybody?
Nope. I think everybody that made it to the finalists earned their positions, and
no kidding.
They should all give themselves a pat on the back. I do not make it easy. I mean, I know Lucy depicted these settings for this this run, but she did not make it easy either.
No.
Nobody's ever gonna enjoy the settings. There's always gonna be unhappy people.
I thought they were super cool, and I even enjoyed that 70% round in Japan, Cowboy. So I don't know what you're complaining about.
Well, Pete, I feel like you have the ability to make anything fun. So
I try, man. You too, though. You're a pretty fun guy yourself. All right, guys, thank you so much for doing this. Congratulations to the finalists. Congratulations to our champion, our top 3. Thank you so much, Stove. Thank you so much, mod team, support team on Discord. You guys, worked so hard, all the event helpers. I really appreciate how much fun I've been having with these tournaments. I don't think I'm alone. So to just say the thing that should be left unsaid, thank you very much.
Yep, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you for having me here.
All right, great, guys. I'm going to sign off now. And that was awesome. Well done. I hope you all enjoyed.
All right, buddy. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for having me out here.
Oh, I do think this is a good idea to continue doing this also.
Hope you all enjoyed, guys, and I'm going to sign off the stream. Until next time, for all of you on the path to world domination, good games and good luck.